let's try something. Forget Wall Street for a second. Forget Silicon Valley. What if I told you the next huge financial revolution isn't going to happen in some fancy skyscraper, but on a mobile phone in East Africa? Yeah, we're about to dive into this really cool, kind of radical idea called the Tanzania Thesis. And honestly, it could flip everything we think we know about money on its head. Okay, so let me ask you. When you think future of finance, where does your mind immediately jump? Probably New York, right? Or London? Maybe Singapore, if you're feeling adventurous. And look, the usual story we hear about other places is, well, it's all about volatility, scams, and a ton of regulatory risk. But what if that whole narrative is missing the real story, the biggest story of them all? What if the actual revolution is quietly bubbling up somewhere totally different, a place where the old, clunky financial system never really got a foothold, And that leaves the door just wide open for something brand new. And to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about a super powerful concept. It's called the leapfrog effect. You've definitely seen this before, even if you didn't know the name for it. Think about old-school landline telephones. Some countries just never bothered building out all that infrastructure with the poles and the wires. Why would they? They just skipped that whole generation of tech and jumped straight to mobile phones. And just like that, they put a supercomputer in practically everyone's pocket. Okay, now let's take that exact same idea and apply it to money. The old way, it's all about physical banks, tons of paperwork, it's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it excludes a lot of people. But this new path, this leapfrog path, it lets a whole population jump from using just cash or maybe some basic mobile money straight into the world of decentralized finance, or DeFi. And DeFi, if you're not familiar, is basically just a set of open financial services, think savings, loans, that run on the internet, open to anyone with a connection. So this idea of a financial leapfrog, well, that's the absolute core of what we're talking about today, the Tanzanian Thesis.
So what is it? The thesis in a nutshell is this. A nation like Tanzania, which is already a global leader in mobile money, could be the very first country to weave DeFi protocols right into the fabric of its national financial system. But why Tanzania, or a nation like it? Well, the conditions are just perfect. Think about it. The old system of giant bank buildings and mountains of paperwork, it never really served the majority of people there. Instead, you have these incredible mobile money services like M-Pesa that made the entire population mobile first from the get-go. They aren't tied down by all that old legacy baggage, which means they're perfectly set up to just skip it, to leap right over it.
Okay, so this isn't just some abstract theory. Let's make this real. Let's actually paint a picture of what this could look like. First, for a regular person, and then for the whole country.
So, picture this. Your average citizen. Maybe they don't have a traditional bank account, but they definitely have a mobile wallet on their phone. Right now, any savings they have just sits there, getting eaten away by inflation. But what if they could connect that wallet to a government-approved DeFi protocol? All of a sudden, their money isn't just sitting there. It's earning a real yield, something that actually beats inflation. And notice, the government isn't trying to be a bank here. It's just creating a safe bridge, a secure on-ramp for its people to access way more powerful financial tools. And this is where it gets really exciting, because the benefits just scale up massively to the whole country. Imagine, instant, super low-cost payments from relatives working abroad. Game changer. Or what about putting the land registry on a public blockchain? That could pretty much end property disputes overnight and unlock credit for millions of farmers and entrepreneurs. This isn't just a small tweak. We are talking about something that could fundamentally change the entire country's trajectory.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second. We gotta be realistic here. This incredible vision, it's not a done deal, not by a long shot. The road to get there is absolutely filled with huge obstacles we can't just ignore. And these challenges are no joke. I mean, on the tech side, you're dealing with things like low internet bandwidth and the need to design apps that are so simple, anyone can use them. Then there's the economic side. You know how volatile crypto markets can be, right? Imagine unleashing that on a fragile economy. It could be a disaster. And then you have the biggest hurdle of all, politics. Let's be real, central banks are not exactly famous for just giving up control over money. So for any of this to actually happen, for the Tanzania thesis to become reality, it's going to take some serious political guts, real, bold political will.
And it's not about trying to shove this brand new decentralized technology into some dusty 100-year-old regulatory box. That'll never work. It's about creating a totally new framework, like an innovation-friendly sandbox, where you can test these new ideas safely and see what works.
So where does all this leave us? Well, it sets the stage for a really fascinating race, a global race, to see which nation is going to be the first one to actually build a financial system that's meant for the 21st century.
And this is what's so interesting about the dynamic here. The countries that were most left out by the old system, they're the ones with the most to gain from the new one, right? They don't have this massive trillion-dollar banking industry they need to protect. They don't have all that baggage. What they do have is a population that's ready and willing to make the jump.
It's really captured perfectly in this one idea. It's about having the courage to look at the old global financial system and just say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. We don't need to play in your walled gardens. We're going to go build our own open road, a public road that works for everyone.
And that's really the final thought to leave you with. The question isn't if a country is going to pull this off and integrate DeFi at a national scale. The incentives are just too powerful. It's going to happen. The real question is, who's going to be first? And whoever it is, the answer might just completely change where we look for financial innovation for the next 50 years.